there heroes, I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge Hiatus video. Right now you might be wondering why, when I said my next video was going to be top 10 battleizers, I'm holding comic books in my hand. Well, I mentioned that I needed to catch up on videos, but I also need to give you guys some more time to vote on those top 10 battleizers. So, since I promised you more reviews of the Power Rangers comic books, here we are. I should be able to get top 10 battleizers posted on Monday after I give you guys just a few more days to vote on it. If you have not voted on that topic yet, please click my head. Seriously, that's where I'm placing the annotation that'll take you back to last week's video. It's a lot easier on me if all of the votes for a top 10 topic are in one place, so please go back and vote on last week's video. I will not be counting votes for top 10 battleizers that are placed on this video. If you would like to vote for that topic, please click that annotation and go back to last week's video and place your vote there. Alright, with all that out of the way, today I'm going to be covering Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 3 and number 4, as well as the first issue of the MMPR Pink spinoff. Spoiler warning. I review these comics the exact same way I review the show, by going over the general plot. All of it. So if you don't want to know the plot and you want to stay spoiler-free, skip to this point in the video to be taken to the non-spoiler general summary section of issue 3. I'll make sure to do those for issue 4 and issue 1 of Pink as well. We'll start with MMPR issue 3. The cover is pretty interesting, a nice action shot of the team face-to-face with the Dragon Zord, and Kim holding a collapsed Tommy. However, everyone looks a little lanky here, tall and thin. We start in the prison dimension. I'm not sure if this place has an actual name, but it's the place Jason was held during Green with Evil. Goldar is being kept there as punishment for losing the Green Ranger. Squat and Babu want to bring him some dinner, but he doesn't want to eat. Tommy wakes up back at his house with his mother watching over him. She tells him that she knows everything, even that he and his friends are the Power Rangers. She's proud of him, but says that it's fine if he wants to quit because, you know, he's not cut out to be a superhero. When he wonders how she could talk to him that way, we get some good old-fashioned nightmare fuel as she peels off her face to reveal Rita. Tommy then really wakes up at the command center where he passed out at the end of issue number 2. Nobody's sure what's going on, but Trini notes that Tommy's heart rate is way off and wants to run a power scan. Meanwhile, in Bandora Palace, Rita gives us a little villain's exposition. She explains that she's in tune with the Green Ranger powers since they came from her. Scorpina submits herself for punishment since she failed to get the power coin or the dragon dagger, but Rita says that it was more important to push Tommy to his limits and charge the crystal, which is nearly powered up. Scorpina says that Rita needs the dragon dagger for her final attack plan. Rita says no, not the dragon dagger, just a dragon dagger. Finster is able to make a copy in a putty's chest, no less. I've heard of going to great lengths to get a bootleg, but this is a little ridiculous. And while it will be unstable and won't last long, it should work in the short term. We get a great scene with Trini and Tommy while she runs the power scan, establishing more character notes. Tommy's family indeed moved around a bit, it's implied on the show. Boston to London to Philly. Trini is jealous of this because she wants to get out and see the world. She loves being a ranger, but she really wants to be a doctor and help people worldwide. As Trini starts to probe at whether Tommy might be experiencing some PTSD from his time under Rita's control, they hear a rumbling outside. Running outside, they see the Dragon Zord attacking the command center. They morph, but Tommy is blocked from going inside it. Trini calls the saber-toothed tiger Zord and, after a funny Hobbit reference, goes to battle. Unfortunately, the Dragon Zord is much stronger. Tommy tries to control it with the dagger, but it just roars at him, which wakes him up. Yes, this was once again another hallucination. Meanwhile, the other 4 Rangers are having dinner at the local diner at night. Because that's a thing high school kids do. Head down to the diner for the early bird special.
What, you think I eat all my meals with you?
Trini calls the Rangers back to the command center to see the results of the power scan. Tommy's powers are going haywire compared to a regular scan, but they don't know why. When it's speculated that it's Rita, Kim says that her influence would mean Tommy's mind would be messed with. This forces him to admit to the hallucinations and visions. This upsets Jason and Zach that he'd keep a secret from them and be a possible liability. This argument is interrupted by the Dragon Zord. No, really this time. Scorpina has control of it, and this couple is in some kind of trouble. This is by no means a bad issue, but it's really exposition heavy, and a lot of the action in the issue isn't really happening. It feels like a setup issue, like it's filling in gaps in the story so that things can move forward in later issues. I gave issue number 3 a score of 3 out of 5. We move on to issue number 4, which moves at a much better pace and has a lot of real action. The cover, though, is a bit underwhelming. The Rangers are leaping at a giant, vicious-looking monster, but there's no background. I do like how it matches the previous cover in color scheme, though. That couple from the cruise ship has gone for an unexpected swim as the Dragon Zord knocked the boat over and headed for the shore. Jason tells Tommy in no uncertain terms that he needs to stay in the command center. Tommy agrees, and the others morph and call their Zords. The Rangers are getting the upper hand at first, with Billy's horn chains grabbing the Dragon Zord to drag unzord it towards the water. But Rita sends down a trio of shark monsters to get in the Rangers' way. With the Rangers on the ropes, the ghost division of Rita comes to taunt Tommy some more, but he's had enough. He calls her the manifestation of his fears, and he's choosing not to be afraid anymore. Knowing that the Rangers need his help and that his Dragon Dagger, the real one, could control the Dragon Zord, Tommy defies Jason's orders and Zordon's advice and morphs. One little thing about this scene. How did Tommy know about the fake Dragon Dagger? They say earlier in the issue that they didn't know how Scorpina was controlling the Dragon Zord, and nobody's told Tommy about the fake dagger since then. Tommy teleports right on top of the Dragon Zord and starts playing, but just like in the vision, there's no effect. Scorpina bucks him off, but Kim catches him with her Zord. The Rangers need to form the Megazord, but Jason doesn't want to take his focus away from the Dragon Zord. Tommy tells him to go for it, that he's got it covered. While Jason starts forming the Megazord, Tommy has Kim fly high and tight on the Dragon Zord, and he punches through its eye into the cockpit. You could almost hear "Go Green Ranger, go" while looking at this panel. He destroys the fake dagger, powering down the Dragon Zord, while the Megazord defeated the sharks. Back in the command center, it's time to have it out over Tommy's insubordination. While Tommy says he beat the visions, Jason and Zach still feel like he can't be trusted. It gets really heated, with Tommy telling them to back off, and Zach asking if he'd go back to being evil Green Ranger. Just as it's about to come to blows, the crystal does instead. It blows up, basically destroying the command center. And no, this isn't a hallucination, Tommy. The Rangers are okay, protected by their suits, but Alpha and Zordon are gone. And suddenly, instead, there's now this giant monster who's ready to beat some Ranger tail. This was a much better issue with a lot more real action, but also focusing on that tension building between the Rangers and Tommy and leaving us on a scary cliffhanger. Issue number 4 gets a score of 4.5 out of 5. Now we transition a little into the brand new miniseries MMPR Pink, a 6-issue miniseries which focuses on Kimberly as a solo hero. Let's take a look. I really like the first cover, or at least the one I got. Again, this is a first issue Boom Studios comic, so there's 18 quadrillion covers for it. Mine is the pterodactyl Zord flying as Kim leaps in the air shooting her arrow. It's interesting that she's in her standard Ranger costume, but we'll get to why in a bit. So this story picks up after a different shade of pink with Kim at the Pan Global Games. The games are actually over and Kim and Team USA have cleaned up. Kim personally has 4 gold medals on her neck. But she's worried. She's left 8 voicemails for her mother, who was supposed to come watch her compete in Amsterdam, but didn't show up. Kim's teammates want her to come celebrate, but she begs out, saying she needs to meet her folks there. Turns out Kim is a bit of a motorcycle daredevil. A car or train would take 6 hours to get to her parents' village in France, but she can get there under 5 on her motorcycle. Of all things, the bike reminds her of her shark cycle, a cute if slightly obscure reference to make, but it does show that the writers did their homework, which reminds her of Tommy and her time as a ranger. Even as a famous and successful national gymnast, she misses being a superhero. She gets to St. Moineau, the village her mother and stepdad live in. It's a ghost town, but she feels like she's being watched. Her parents' house is locked, so she breaks in and finds her mom's purse and phone there, which really worries Kim since her mom would never leave her phone behind. If she doesn't have her phone with her, how is she going to catch that cadabra in the park? Do you know how many Pokestops a village like that could have? Hearing a crash, Kim goes to give chase, and then thinks better of it, deciding to arm up first. Because a girl like Kim, even as a former superhero, would leave a stash of weapons and gear in a room at her parents' house? She grabs a bow and arrows, of course, as well as boots, a leather jacket, and a communicator. Zordon apparently gave her one after she left the team so she could contact the Rangers in an emergency. It makes a lot of sense, actually. Lord Zed, again, timetable, we'll get to that too, could find a powerless Kim a prime target for a hostage demand or to lure the Rangers into a trap. So, after Kim transforms herself into Katniss Everdeen, she heads into the town and sees a man getting grabbed by creatures from the Black Lagoon. She fights the creatures, and while she's rusty, she wins through. The man, Serge, takes her to his family's bistro, explaining that he's a college student in London, but just like Kim, lost contact with his family and came to investigate. Serge tells Kim the monsters come out at night, grabbing whoever they find and taking them away. He's found camps of survivors and has seen the monsters heading into a cliff near the sea. Kim tells him that she's going to get some powerful help and returns to her parents' place to contact Zordon. This communicator apparently has a hologram generator. Every year they're adding new bells and whistles to those dumb things. You know, I heard that the hologram technology was actually ready for the previous communicator, but they held it back on purpose so that this one would sell? Kim explains what is going on and asks for the Rangers' help. However, the Rangers are off on another planet fighting Lord Zed. Does anyone remember what this might be referencing? I don't remember a time the Rangers all left Earth to fight Zed. And in fact, Zordon can't reach them, but he can help Kim through the power of backstory. Okay, so apparently when Jason, Trini, and Zach transferred their powers to Rocky, Aisha, and Adam, the Sword of Light transferred them completely. However, since Kim just gave her coin to Catherine, she still has residual pink energy in her.
Too much pink energy is dangerous.
It's okay, Zordon. We're only talking about a bit of pink energy here. The Sword of Light can be used to somehow activate that energy and turn Kim back into a pink Power Ranger. She accepts the offer and is morphed into this. Yeah, it's time to talk about the new suit. Interestingly enough, it still features the pterodactyl helmet, even though Kim's last powers were the pink crane ninja powers. Yes, her helmet was a pterodactyl then too, but it just would have been a nice change, especially since the rest of the suit is brand new from the neck down. It kind of looks like a motocross suit, actually, adding black to the color scheme and lots of angular lines. It's not bad by any means, it's just different, and I wish that bold difference had extended to the helmet. I mean, this is a spin-off of a comic book series pointed at older fans. We're not going to get confused because Kimberly has a totally different suit than the Pink Ranger. Kim goes flying out of town on what is either her bike or a new shark cycle or whatever, who the heck knows. And 20 minutes later, which the comic points out for some reason, she reaches a cave. The creatures are in the cave, as are people and cages. But there are only a few cages and even less people. One of the creatures finds her, but she uses her twisting self into pretzel powers. Note how she's facing away, but then this kick is with her foot facing up. After making the same Black Lagoon joke that I did, I swear it was my original reaction, she leaps into action. Fight, 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 and she wins through, but then sees the head of this evil plan. Goldar. Yes, Goldar is running things this time, telling Kim that he has his own plans. He says that she is going to help him revive some creature and shows her that he has her mother. Just as her mother recognizes Kim's voice, a creature that's with Goldar transforms her into one of the Swamp Things. This is a really good start to this miniseries. Kim is characterized very well in her post-Ranger days, missing the superhero life and taking action on her own. The art style is noticeably different from the core line, but it's still just as good, and we've got a nice mystery story that's setting up quite well. MMPR Pink gets a score of 4 out of 5. Alright, that's going to do it for now. Soon enough, I'll be getting my hands on MMPR number 5, as well as Pink number 2 and number 3. And since I seem to be doing these comic book reviews in groups of 3, I should do another video when I get my hands on those. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, may the power protect you. Honestly, it feels like a setup issue, like it's filling in gaps in the story so that things can... Because a girl like him... I mean, this is a spin-off series of a comic featured... this is a spin-off series of a comic book series. This is a spin-off of a comic book series. And we've got a nice setup for a mystery that's gonna... Goldar is being kept there as some kind of punishment for losing the Green Ranger. Not some kind of punishment. Jason and Zach still feel like he can't be trusted. It gets really heated with Tommy telling them to back off and Zach asking... The games are actually over and Kim and Team USA have cleaned up. Kim personally has 4 gold medals on... I can't even get the first take right. She gets to St. Monio, She gets to St. Monio, the village her mother... She grabs a bow and arrows. She fights the creatures, and while she's rusty, she wins through. The man, Serge, takes her to her family's... Kim explains what's going on and asks for the Rangers' help. However, the Rangers are off on another planet fighting. After making the same Black Lagoon... Farts!